Before we get into exactly what decisions between what players they need to make, do you think these decisions have already pretty much been made before they have this meeting?
I think that they have ideas in their heads.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, it's another Monday.
Yeah, closer and closer to spring training being over.
Yeah. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, find out why Aaron Judge is going to wear a gold star on his uniform in 2025. We'll tell you how the Yankees did on Sunday. Joey Gallo, pitcher? That's something that might be happening. But first, opening day is 10 days away and decisions need to be made. What are those decisions?
Yeah, news came out. We're recording this on Sunday. As you guys know, the day before the show comes out, we record. News actually just came out from Eric Boland that Clarke Schmidt was scratched from tomorrow's start because his recovery has not gone in the path that it needs to go in the last few days. Aaron Boone announced that he will still attempt to throw a bullpen tomorrow, and there are no scheduled tests that are going to be happening. So there's not necessarily a delay in his debut, but not necessarily a guarantee he'll make it on time. So the Yankees are going to have to think about that also. They're going to need a fifth starter. It's not like crazy news because they're going to need someone to replace him in the rotation for the first week and a half to 2 weeks anyway. So that guy just might get a few more reps, whoever that guy winds up being as the season starts.
Fun. The fun never ends for the Yankees.
Yeah, the injuries certainly never end. That's been the theme this offseason so far, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I was looking at an article from Brian Hoke that went up on Sunday about opening day and the decisions that needed to be made. Now, before the Schmidt news came out, Boone said that the Yankees were having meetings regarding roster construction starting this week. He said early this week, meaning probably Monday, Tuesday. So they'll have a nice St. Patty's Day meeting about the roster. He said, there's still important days here in camp that we'll continue to evaluate and keep assessing where we are and ultimately what we think is the best decision for the team. I feel like a lot of guys have to this point forced us into making hopefully some decisions. Now, up for grabs, obviously, the spots in the rotation. Backup catcher is still up for grabs, although it looks like they're leaning towards maybe carrying two backup catchers. We'll talk about that in a bit. Mm-hmm. Spots in the bullpen need to be sorted out because there's some injuries there too, and the infield bench options.
Before we get into exactly what decisions between what players they need to make, do you think these decisions have already pretty much been made before they have this meeting?
I think that they have ideas in their heads. It might not be 100% one way, but I think that there will be discussions about how they're feeling about certain guys. And they were probably leaning towards certain guys already, but I think that they might be having like a discussion, like this guy versus this guy. Who should we bring? These are his options. These aren't his options. This guy doesn't have options. We need to bring him, kind of thing. Because there's a lot of guys like that.
I'm just wondering if anybody can or I guess cannot play their way into a role at this point. Do you think any of these guys could play their way onto the team if they're not currently on the team at this point, or could they play their way off the team? I don't really think so at this point. Like I think whatever they've done so far that's already out of the way. Now it's just about them making a decision.
Yeah, I think it's about the decision. I think it's in the back of their heads, and they're just doing this probably like formality-wise, saying, oh, we're having meetings about this. But I think probably, like I said, they're leaning towards certain guys, but they want to talk about everyone and give everyone a chance to make the roster. Yeah.
The interesting one is the backup catcher situation, obviously. I'll tell you right now, I'm in more of a lean towards Ben Rice. I think he's played his way onto this roster. I think he's deserved a spot. Now, whether they use him for that or for backup first base, It just feels like this situation for them with Ben Rice has, if they're not going to go with Ben Rice as a backup catcher, it feels like it creates a little bit of a clog in the lineup because I don't think there's a reason to carry 3 catchers, to be honest with you.
Right. But they can also have Rice be backup DH. He could be, or DH, not even backup, just a DH when they have guys playing in all the positions. He could still be backup first baseman, although Oswaldo Cabrera could also do that as well. But from what I read, it looks like the Yankees are leaning towards both him and Escar going up with the team because Ben Rice has those other options. And if they need those other positions to be filled, he can be like a guy that can actually play like 3 to 4 times a week, maybe once as a backup catcher, and then maybe DH. And like, he's like one of those jack of all trades thing. And I think that the fact that he can catch really helps him out.
Do you think it hurts, though? It hurts Cabrera's chances of playing more because if they go Peraza at third base, then I think, or does this move just tell you that they've made the decision that Cabrera is the third baseman?
From what I was reading in the article, it could be Cabrera, Peraza sharing. Peraza could be backing up second base, shortstop, and third. Like, they're leaning towards all different things because I don't think they want to lose Peraza. He has no options. He has to play, or else they're going to lose him. Like, that seems like one that that decision has to be made.
Yeah, it's use him or lose him at this point. He has to play and play like a major leaguer, or he has to be traded. They can't afford to just let him hit the waiver wire because you know how these kind of things work, right? Like, as soon as he hits the waiver wire, some bottom feeder picks him up, and then you look at Baseball Reference in a few weeks, and he's hitting 313 for that team. You know how this kind of stuff works. So you have to make it. That's why I almost think you start Peraza at the start of the season just to give him his fair shake at this point. Just to give him his chance. And listen, here it is, buddy. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. Throw him to the Wolves at this point, even though he's kind of been thrown already, making him start in the postseason. But this is, I mean, that's the only option I feel like they have there. It just feels like their options are a little clogged right now with how everyone's played. I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? But I just don't know if carrying 3 catchers, Ben Rice is lucky that he has the versatility that he does. But carrying 3 catchers is not a common thing a lot of teams do. So I do lean towards you, though. I do feel like they're going to wind up carrying these 3 catchers. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, because again, like they can say they're carrying 3 catchers, but they can mostly use Ben Rice for backup first baseman and DHing if they need
so
it.
He's a third catcher in an emergency situation only, pretty much.
I think that's probably what they're going to do. As for the bullpen, Ian Hamilton apparently had an infection. He's working back slowly. They say he's better now, so he took a couple steps back because of the infection. Mark Leiter Jr. is still having his issue with his back, but there are other options that can fill in for those guys if they're not ready for opening day. Yendrys Gomez, 0.00 ERA. It's only 6 2/3 innings, but 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's given up 2 hits. He's out of minor league options. He could be used in a multi-inning role. He also has the beard. We'll be talking about that in segment 3. It's really weird seeing guys with beards. I like it, but right now it's kind of,
He's the first one that I actually stopped and noticed it, actually. When I saw the highlight of him pitching, and his beard is just so perfectly manicured, I guess.
It almost looks like it's painted on his face.
It literally, it looks that good. So he's the first one that I actually noticed with the beard. The other guys I really haven't noticed as much. Although Dominguez has a really good looking one too, actually. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we're going to talk about in that segment 3 because it seems like the beard is giving him some power. We'll talk about that in segment 3. As for the rotation, this news with Schmidt kind of throws a wrench into things because as the article was printed, it looked like Stroman and Schmidt probably would have spots in the rotation as the 4 and 5 because of Heel and Cole being out. But now that Schmidt's going to be pushed back a little bit, you have Carlos Carrasco, you have Will Warren, and you even have Alan Winans, who was a non-roster invitee who could be fighting for those spots. Warren should have a leg up over the other 2 guys because he's already pitched with them, but they could also start him in AAA if they wanted to give one of these other guys a spot.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be Carrasco, believe it or not. Just because of the fact that you don't you don't want to do it to Warren what you did to him last year, where you had him up in the major league level out of necessity. You didn't have him up because he earned it. I think you want to start him in AAA. Let him put up some dominant numbers. Let him feel like he's earned his way onto the major league roster, and not that you're using him to use him. Plus, you don't want to find yourself in the position that the Yankees are in with Peraza, where you kill a guy's options, and now Warren's got no options for you. Now he has to pitch at the major league level. So.
Right.
I think you played a little more careful with Warren. And listen, if after the first month in spring training, he's got a sub-1 ERA, yeah, he's a major leaguer, put him in the major leagues. But I don't think there's any harm in him starting in AAA. He might be aggravated about that, but I don't think it harms the team necessarily to have him starting in AAA.
Right. And the other thing is Carrasco has a March 22nd opt-out deadline that he could use. So if you look at the numbers so far, and yes, it's spring training, but we have to look at the numbers because that's what they look at when they're trying to make these decisions. Warren has a 2.87 ERA, 9 hits, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts in 15 and 2/3 innings. He's had a pretty good spring. Carrasco, 2.45 ERA, 12 strikeouts in 11 innings. He's also pitched well. So again, I think with that opt-out, that probably makes the decision easier. And with Warren having the option to go to AAA and start there and just start off strong in AAA, and the Yankees being able to make that call in like May and say, hey, dude, want to come up? That'll probably be the option.
If you want to build him into a Michael King type that's going to start some games for you, I think that's the move. Let him feel like he earned his way onto the major league roster. Don't let him feel like, again, you're only using me out of necessity. Because I think he could have felt that way last year. And I think that leads to a lot of disappointing starts out of him, honestly, is the fact that he's on a taxi squad back and forth between Scranton and New York. You don't know, and you never feel like you belong on the team or you're a necessity of the team. You just feel like you're filling in for injured roles, which is what he was doing. But I think there's more credence to him, going to AAA, pitching to a sub-1, sub-2 ERA, earning his way onto the major league roster. I think there's a better chance he comes back sometime mid-May, early June, and is dominant at the major league level.
Right. And the last thing, Peraza versus Cabrera or Peraza plus Cabrera. That could be the option. They could have both of them. Cabrera has the edge at third. Peraza is out of options. But like I said earlier, he could be he can play short. He can play second. He can play third. That could be a good thing for the Yankees to have, if need be.
I think they're going in that route.
Season.
I think they're both making the team. I don't know who's going to be on the opening day lineup card. I certainly hope that they're both getting optimal play time, to be honest with you. And I think that's the only route to go at this point. I don't think either guy has definitively, like, this. This is not an Anthony Volpe situation where he definitively was the guy that's got to be the starting shortstop. That's not what's going on here. So I think both guys have to have their opportunity to play, and at a certain point, it'll tell itself throughout the season of who should be the starter.
Right. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. Already got a text about Joey Gallo's going to pitch. So, that news is making it around. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, how did the Yankees fare on Sunday in their split squad games?
Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. Now, personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Now, whether I'm snacking at my desk or on a road trip or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are also a classic favorite. Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein. It provides all 9 essential amino acids. No shells, Wonderful Pistachios for that grab-and-go ease. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So get crackin' and get snackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. And thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Now, those fans get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link is in our description. All right, Stacey. So the Yankees had 2 games that they played on Sunday, a split squad appearance. And I want to go to the Yankees Rays game first, where The Yankees are playing the team who has their home games at the Yankees spring training facility, but they were at the Rays spring training facility. If that makes sense to everybody. Little bit of news on the Rays before we get into the game itself. It was announced over the weekend that the Rays are now not going forward with the proposed $1.2 billion stadium plan to stay in St. Petersburg. That is huge because they're going to want to move at this point. Now, apparently there was a proposal put into Major League Baseball to make an $800 million renovation to Tropicana Field. That was turned down by Major League Baseball. They said absolutely not, which makes sense. If you've been to that area, you don't want to renovate that area. So I think it's safe to say at this point, within the next decade, they will not be playing games at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
There won't be a team there. I don't know where they go, but they're not going to be there.
Yeah, the owners want the owner to sell.
He should. They should.
Yeah.
I don't think there's, the owners are in the best interest of this sport succeeding and growing and stuff. And clearly the owner of the Rays is not interested in that. He's interested in collecting money every year, and that's it. The highest contract they had ever given out up to this day was the Hyun-Sung Kim contract that they just gave out this offseason.
Yeah.
Think about that. That it's absurd. So yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be that's AAV wise. I don't think they're going to be staying in St. Petersburg. I think they're gone. Whether it's Montreal, Nashville, who knows? But it's over in Tampa, which is crazy to think about. But there's no way, if you're not going to build a new stadium, that they're going to keep it.
Yeah. So do you have an update about Jason Dominguez?
Yeah, it's funny. After all of the he can't field rumors, what are they going to do in left field? Do they need to go out and acquire a left fielder? All those reports. I think we did maybe 2 full episodes on it. Let me just go over for you. First of all, there has not been an article online published about Jason Dominguez's fielding in 12 days now. It's been 12 days since an article has been published online from any major place. There was a New York Post article published, but it was published about why the Yankees are, quote, putting up with Jason Dominguez in left field, which is an insane notion to have, but you got to get clicks somehow. So can't blame them.
It's also the Post. So
yeah, exactly. Got to get people to read that paper somehow. He's currently in spring right now. He's batting .256. He's got 3 homers, 8 RBIs, and .801 OPS. That's only in 43 at bats. The better part is the fielding statistics, Stacey. He currently has 1,000 fielding percentage. He has not made an error in the field this year. Now he has the 2 they call it missed balls, bad route balls that he had in that. I believe it was in the same game, right? Or it was back-to-back days.
I believe so, yeah.
Whatever it was, he has 1,000 field percentage, 1 outfield assist in 14 games. That's in 79 total innings played in left field, which is a pretty good sample size. He has, and also just when it comes to taking routes to balls and stuff, if you've watched the spring training games, he has been fantastic. He has had no hiccups. He looks natural out there. He's clearly worked on it, and he's improved. We said this coming in. You were going to see some hiccups in left field. That was natural. That made sense. That should have happened. And it did. That's what spring training is for. That's why it exists.
And you still might, when the season starts, when he gets to Yankee Stadium, you might see a couple of hiccups there, but it'll be the same sort of thing that once he has more innings there and he gets used to play, it should be fine.
Yeah, and I think by mid-May or June, again, he's going to be fine in left field. He won't be talking about his fielding. I'm sure there'll be errors, and I'm sure he'll drop a ball in July or something like that, and people will start freaking out again that he can't field. But it hasn't been an issue, and it's just crazy how the narrative grew and grew, and we almost became so desperate to make it a story that they have a problem in left field, and he shut it down immediately. I like what I see out of this kid for that reason in particular, to be honest with you. The fact that those rumors were out there and he shut it down as instantly as humanly possible and didn't have to speak about it. He didn't make one comment where you were like, ooh, I don't know if I like that, where he defended himself or felt the need to defend himself. He made everyone shut up when he's playing. And that's what you want to see out of a New York athlete. So he's been great. The power bat's been there. Also, I don't know if you watched the game on Sunday against the Rays, the home run that he hit was on the inside part of the plate. That was a complete opposite field home run. It was if you watch the replay from behind the batter's box, it looks like he completely splinters the ball and it just goes the other way over the left field wall. It is absolutely insane the level of power this guy has. It's going to be a fun year watching Jason Dominguez.
I was not watching that game. I was watching the Yankees against the Pirates because that was on Yes, and that was the more marquee of the split squad games. Because if you looked at the rest of the lineup of the Rays game, you're like, who are these guys? Because, other than Oswaldo, Cabrera, and Dominguez, a lot of the guys in the lineup, you're just like, who are these people?
Ben Rice also homered. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Oswaldo, Ben Rice, and Dominguez homered. Dominguez also had a stand-up triple on, was it Friday or Saturday?
Yep. I don't know which one. The spring training game
but
starts.
He had a really good game also. That same game that he had the triple. He was, he had a few hits, and he's just, like you said, I love that he's letting his play talk for him, speak for him. And that he's not letting this, he's young. He's still so young. And the fact that he's able to put up with this, and I know it's different in spring training, but you still have all the beat writers down there. There's still chatter. These guys know that chatter is happening. And that someone was like, oh, the New York Post wrote this about you. Like either it's family or something. These guys know that things are happening. So I like that he's doing this. As for the Yankees against the Pirates, it was Wells, Judge, Bellinger, Goldie. That was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Might be opening days 1, 2, 3, 4 too. Feels like it.
It feels like that could be the order that we see. Bellinger last check was batting .485 in spring training. I know it's spring training, but
that's
he made an out in his last at bat, and I said, "Is that even allowed at this point?" Because every time I see him, he's hitting. Goldschmidt also batting around .320 in spring training, looking pretty good. It's just funny to see Goldschmidt wearing 48. I'm like, oh, right, because you think of Rizzo and it's him. Luke Weaver pitched a clean inning with a strikeout, and they had Grisham in center, Bellinger in left for this one. That was only because Dominguez was in Port Charlotte playing against the Rays. But it is an interesting option only because Bellinger said he was willing to play anywhere, but you notice they haven't played him at first yet. It's just the outfield positions.
We'll see. I don't know how much they're going to put him in left field. Maybe there'll be an off occasion. But also, you want to prepare for injuries also. So let him get a little bit of reps in left field just to get him comfortable with it a little more. But you're right. That feels like it'll be the opening day, which I don't hate. I don't love that there's not enough speed at top order with Wells there. But he's a better hitter right now than Volpe. So I don't hate the decision, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I really feel like they're going with that as the top 4 spots in the lineup. And we'll see what they do with the rest of the lineup. But it feels like something, how Boone gets, and how they get when they get something in their heads. And so it's interesting. All right, coming up next, Aaron Judge is getting a gold star. We'll tell you why. He's not the only one, but we'll tell you why. And who has a beard and who doesn't? It's actually more guys than you think.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually surprised. I really was expecting like maybe 2 guys to grow a beard on the Yankees, but there are more. We'll tell you all about that next.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and saving up for Taylor Swift tickets, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter and I save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan for long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever now. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all the stress. Now take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. So, Stacey, before we get into facial hair, which has become a major topic on Locked On Yankees, Joey Gallo announced on his Instagram that he is making a semi-quasi return to Major League Baseball, but as a pitcher. He will no longer be in outfield. He posted a goodbye to the outfield post on his Instagram. And apparently he was a stud 2-way player in high school and college. But now he is looking to take his talents to the mound. So I don't know if a lot of players have been able to do this in their career, but he's going to try.
There have been some guys who have done it. I just find it interesting that the worst team in baseball released him. And now he's like, all right, I'm going to be a pitcher.
Why not? I mean, I mean, his hitting is falling apart. So, I mean, if there's one option that he has, I guess it's this one, right?
Yeah, and I can't remember which beat writer I saw that mentioned, they said, he used to touch 95, 96 when he was pitching in college. So,
yeah, apparently, I mean, a lot of these guys did that, though. You know what I mean? Like, apparently Aaron Judge was an elite pitcher, too. I don't think he's going to be, stepping on the mound anytime soon for the Yankees.
Could you imagine someone that big being on the mound?
I mean, Joey Gallo, yeah. Joey Gallo's pretty tall.
But it's not just tall. Like, well, when Joey Gallo came over, he was like, oh my God. He's like, I'm usually the big guy in the outfield, and I have Stanton and Judge next to me, and I feel short because he's 6'4", which is huge. Yeah. But because Stanton's 6'6" and Judge is 6'7", but like not even the tallness, because there have been guys taller than Judge pitching. You had Dennis Rasmussen, you had Randy Johnson, who were like nearly 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
But they were like this, where Judge is, like imagine having someone 6'7", 282 pitching. That's
scary, especially with his strength. Imagine the torque that he can get on. What would he hit for? I mean, Judge could probably throw 100 miles an hour now, to be honest with you. A lot of his throws from the outfield come in at like 95 miles an hour. So I'm sure Judge could top that if he really worked at pitching, but we'll see. I don't know if Joey Gallo is going to have some major return here, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, he's just really trying to. He obviously has a love for baseball. He's been doing it his entire life, and he really wants to try and keep his career going. So anything that you can do to do that, including pitching, I guess, is something you do. Also, one quick note, in the spring breakout game between the Yankees and the Orioles, Carlos LaGrange for the Yankees reached triple digits on the mound, which is
impressive.
Very impressive. So the Gold Star thing, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Chris Sale, Tarek Skubal, and Paul Skeens and Luis Heel. So you have the MVPs, the Cy Youngs, and the rookies of the year, there you go, from the previous season wearing gold stars on their uniform. It's a collaboration with Topps, Fanatics, and Nike, and it's going to be a special gold patch for all of them to wear, and it's going to be throughout the season, and this is also like a promotion that follows the patch that they gave guys who were debuting in 2023. Same concept, except just for those 6 guys.
I believe if I'm not mistaken, too, the MLB logo on the back of their jersey is also going to be in gold for those players as well. I love this. It gives off extreme European soccer vibes. Like if you go to if your team wins the Champions League the year prior, the next year you wear your emblem for your league is gold. It's not the standard color of the emblem. So like Manchester City the last few years has worn a gold emblem in the middle of their chest instead of their normal color. I love it. I think it's cool to acknowledge the players for something like this. I don't mind it at all. I think it'll obviously boost jersey sales because you'll want a gold patch Judge jersey. But overall, I think it's awesome to acknowledge players for season achievements. I mean, winning MVPs, Cy Youngs, Rookie of the Years, those are things that are talked about for a long time following your one great season that you had. So I think it's great to have more than a speech at the baseball writers' dinner to acknowledge these guys getting these awards. So I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. So we've mentioned it a couple times, but beards, they're here to stay on the Yankees. I love it. Mm-hmm. It's about time. And I thought we could go through some of the guys who have beards. Like I said, not everyone, but there's a number of players that I noticed who were growing in beards. Carlos Rodon has a full beard now. I saw him being interviewed by, I think, was it Meredith or it was someone from Yes. I just saw his face and I thought, oh, look at him. He also has that strange sort of quasi mullet hairdo, which I'm not a big fan of, but at least he wears a hat for the game so we don't have to see it. He
is a beard guy, though. You can just tell by the structure of his face. Like, he looks so much better. His wife's probably like, this is amazing. He has a beard again. He pitched his best baseball, too, when he had a beard. Like, not even a doubt.
There is a psychological thing to it. 100%. Like, there really is. So 100%. I'm kind of hoping that helps. Speaking of that, Dominguez has a full beard. And as we said, he played well all weekend. Stand-up triple on Saturday. Keep that beard. Keep it. Okay?
It's working, clearly. I think another one, too, the psychological thing you were talking about, Garrett Cole with choppier hair in the back is also a thing, too. Like, and they've let him get away with it being a little long over the last few years. And you can just tell, like, there is something about him with the bushier hair in the back that makes him pitch better than when he has, shorter haircut.
Yeah. We discussed Yendris Gomez having a very manicured, almost painted on beard, like perfect beard. I don't understand. You know what it looks like? And no one's going to get this reference because I'm old, but there was an old Ken doll in the late 70s, and it wasn't a blonde Ken. He was a dark-haired Ken, and he came with a marker, and you drew a beard on him, and it came with a fake shaver that rubbed the beard off. That's what Yendris Gomez's beard looks like.
It looks like he got it like taken care of with a razor blade second, like in the bullpen while he was warming up. There was also someone with a straight razor just like cleaning it up.
Well, they do have the barber. The barber is down there in spring training, and he has a lot more to do now because he has faces instead of just hair. So he's probably really excited about that. Devin Williams is growing his back. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
He's really the reason why this is happening. So good on you, Devin Williams. I noticed Stanton has hair growing in on his face. Not that he's playing, but, I noticed that the other day. He was standing in the background. I was like, oh, okay, Stanton. Is it still weird to see these guys with facial hair? Yes, but I'm enjoying it. I love it. I think some of these guys look badass with a beard, and I think that more guys should do it. Seriously.
Anthony Volpe, I don't think is able to grow one.
No.
I don't know if he can. Jason Dominguez, though, looks like he's had one since the 7th grade.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot more mature with that beard, like a guy who's been playing for like 5 years already with that beard, and with the way he's been playing the last few games with it. Yeah.
Keep it. I love
Definitely
it. Yeah.
Keep it. I agree. So what did we learn today? Beards look really cool on certain guys, and they should keep them.
Agreed.
Some guys will be wearing gold stars and gold patches on their uniforms. We think it's a cool thing. The starting lineup could be Wells, Judge, Bellinger, Goldschmidt for the first 4 spots. We'll see if that carries over into opening day. Opening day is only 10 days away. The Yankees have a lot of decisions to be made. But can you believe it? 10 days.
No, I can't. I'm super excited, though. Let's get it here already.
It felt like when spring training first started that opening day was so far away. And now it truly snuck up on us. Also to us, because we're Irish. Don't let my name fool you. I am Irish. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Correct.
To our Irish brethren. And
hope
you guys are all being safe. I know my name is very Greek, but my mom's half Irish, half Italian. So
half Irish here too. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Enjoy some corned beef and cabbage.
Yes. Enjoy the corned beef, cabbage, any potatoes you might have.
Lots of potatoes. A Guinness, perhaps?
Yes, just one. Be careful.
Yeah,
it's also
heavy. You only want one.
Yeah, it's also Monday. Don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB Fantasy Draft season is here, so be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. You can find Locked On Fantasy Baseball on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.